All right, Yarok field meme. We played a Yarok deck yesterday that was very similar to this, just like, and our conclusion was we actually ended up cutting a lot of the scape shifts from it because we were just like ramping naturally and triggering Field of the Dead a bunch with Yarok and just by finding a bunch of them, and it felt very reasonable. And as we are often known to do in Hoaglandia, we like to take decks that seem reasonable and make them a couple of cards worse so we can do something sweet with them. So we have here Arcane Adaptation, which makes all of our creatures the chosen creature type. So the goal here is to get Arcane Adaptation into play and name Elemental. And then with Risen Reef out, the zombies that get made from Field of the Dead trigger Risen Reef. And ideally, we Risen Reef through almost our entire deck, or quite possibly our entire deck, with a Jace out. So we can win with Jace's alt tech. So if we don't do our entire deck, we get a bunch of value in zombies. And even if we do go through our whole deck, we have Jace. Also, without just strict comboing with the Arcane Adaptation, just Cavalier of Thorns and Yarok could mill our deck out naturally. So we have Jace to win that way too. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches. I bet a lot of our games are going to be won just by making 2/2s, but hopefully we get to full combo at least once. Yeah, I mean, all things considered, this is only like a good deck that's been messed up by like 1 or 2 cards. So like, the core here is very reasonable. I did have a Quip sponsorship at one point. Unfortunately, it is no longer valid. But their product is still great, and I still use my Quip brush. So if you're really in the market for an electric toothbrush, I definitely would recommend them still. For people who haven't been following Standard super closely, there are a lot of Scape Shift decks right now. 8 of the top 16 decks at the Grand Prix this past weekend were Scape Shift. And we played against a lot of Scape Shift yesterday on stream. You get to double Rejuvenator and double Scry here. So I have 5 differently named lands here. If I play this, and I hit 2 differently names with this, I can get... I don't think it really matters what order I do this in. We've not played Jund Dinos on stream yet, no. Alright, so this triggers Field of Dead, and then this triggers 4 times, right? Yep. Those all natural boys and girls. Modern leagues today were both really good. Yeah, I think I'm actually in for Jace, right? That seems fine. Am I dead? This makes 8. So 8 block 8, block 9. I'm taking 14, 28. Yeah, I'm dead to an attack wall. I really need to hit a ramp spell there. If we'd have hit a Cavalier or another Rejuvenator off of this straw, we'd have been in a good spot. That's a good use of the interface there. So for people that missed that, you can click on the 4 and then click on their thing. I milled them because they scried top. So we are unfortunately dead here. The time wipe that they had before their scape shift actually saved them, right? Because we had way more zombies than they did before the time wipe. So the fact that they had time wipe allowed them to really pull out ahead there. This is not super necessary. Definitely want these trophies and these unmoored egos. That's so awkward. For people who heard me trash talk Ego a lot last season, I was also very adamant that the Snakes Win channel is the meme channel. And actually, I'm gonna rename that to memes because we have that question too often. What was I gonna say? I was always very adamant last season that this format's basically exactly like, Unmoored Ego is very good in Modern, and this season, this standard format has basically become Modern. The number of decks that are focused around very specific cards. So, you know, where we're at. We had a lot of Risen Reefs here, though. We've got some Reefs. It's impossible to know what rotation's gonna bring. I can't see into the future. I didn't just fire this off because hopefully they're going to time wipe and then we'll ego them. Or they'll tap out for something and we'll ego them. Yeah, if we take the fields out of their deck, they basically have to win with Hydroid Crisis and 1/1s. Okie doke. So I'm going to decline putting this one into play because I haven't played a land yet for the turn. And I can play this untapped and then cast Growth Spiral. Whale Shoot. I think we're going to keep all the egos here. They had 2 fields in their hand. All right, what else do they have? They have a Mass Manipulation. They have Cavalier of Thorns. They have 1 Mass Manipulation, 2 Mass Manipulations. They have a bunch of Cavalier of Thorns. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take Cavalier with the second one. I didn't click on the last one yet because as soon as you click the 4th one, it automatically closes the prompt. So I was waiting to click on the last one. Ha! They drew Cavalier of Thorns. And again, these aren't card advantage, right? Because my opponent redraws something every time this happens. Hey, Nicolasso, thanks for the Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. Hopefully I draw a land here so I can go Reef into Yarok. Yeah, the Escape Shifts can turn into Mana Severance, though. They can pull all the lands out of their deck.
Let us have a storied battle worth the hour. Seek and find.
The Blue Finale just draws a bunch of cards. So, like, if I get rid of all of their cards that they can draw with, like... So... I think I Cavalier of Thorns to start here. Here's my field triggers. I've not played a land yet this turn. Yeah, I think we're taking their crates with ego, right? Yes, Game Shift is rotating in October, but I think I'm hitting Tamio for 3 here, so this way if she wants to down tick and pick up Time Wipe, she dies. Like, I know I could kill the Teferi, but I think I'd rather do that.
The past is never forgotten.
No, I am not making this up as I go.
Alright, Time Wipe be at instant speed. Nope, Finale is not target player, it's just draw X. Alright, so I think I just get back Ego and name Mass Manipulation, right?
I've got them all figured out. There's always an answer.
Ego confirmed good versus magic cards, yep. Alright, so what else do they have? They have Elvish Rejuvenators and Deputies in Detention. Yeah, they have Elvish Rejuvenators and Deputies in Detention. Those are the remaining ways to actually win the game. Here's hoping we can beat those. Yeah, the format changed, Fungerwunk. This format is basically modern, and Unmoored Ego has always been good in modern. It was printed for formats similar to modern.
Let's try this. It's a matter of give and take.
I'm going to attempt to attack for lethal here. Yeah, Blast Zone does seem good here. I agree. Alright. I feel like this game of Magic was just like this is just like what every person dreams of their Unmoored Ego games look like. When they put this card in their sideboard, it's like, yes, I'm just gonna take every meaningful card out of their deck and they will no longer play Magic. Excellent. Oh, good. That's the voice you use too. Perfect. Recurring it with Cavalier was extra spicy. My heartbeat spiked. Good. Good. That's what we're aiming for around here. Refuse to attack for lethal. Well, they do have, like, Deputy of Detention in their deck, and I don't want them to, like, exile my Jace and then us lose by accident. Jeff, what's your opinion on Golos? Is the ability good, or the Golos decks just memes? I mean, context is key, like we always say, right? So, like, is the Golos deck good is determined by a lot of other details that surround it, more than anything. Alright, they don't have a Field of the Dead. So, I would like to take your fields away. Wow, they have one in their hand again. Yeah, get out of here. Take your stupid Fields of the Dead and leave. Nice Bantscape Shift deck, opponent. Opponent has learned. They understand where this game is going, and they should just give up. What's my favorite Golos deck? 5-color Golos Niv. You can find that on my website. We played it somewhat recently. Standard decks page. This hand lacks a black source, but it's on the play with the growth spirals, so got some scries. We're definitely modern. We're just winning by drawing sideboard cards. I agree. And for the record, for people who are new to Magic, saying this format is basically modern is not a compliment. Yeah, it did, Maris. That deck was a lot of fun. Looking for an untapped land here, so we just start dropping 5-drops. Perfect. None of these were a black source, but I did bottom my Blast Zone, which may or may not have been right. I did at the turn 1 on the play, though, right? Yeah. Yeah, Cavalier has reach. He's all hands. He's all hands. Should I add Unmoored Ego to the Golos Niv? Yes, you definitely should. In fact, I'm going to make a note to update the list on my website to have that. Add Ego to decks on website. Every deck on my website that can cast Unmoored Ego is going to get copies of Unmoored Ego added to it later this evening. Yikes. Yikes. Yikes! Are we dead? I think we've died, chat. Owie. We've been deposed. We've been deposed. And you can tell that we don't work for the President of the United States because we were actually deposed. We weren't just subpoenaed and then ignored it. Oops, did I say that out loud? Weird. This is probably a matchup where we cut the Yaroks, huh? They're probably a little slow and clunky at the top end. Do I want a Shifting Ceratops to try and race? Probably not. I think I'm going to leave in a couple of Yaroks and trim these Rejuvenators. I'm going to trim a Jace. He probably just doesn't do a whole lot of the time. Yeah. Oh, Ceratops can get reach. That's a good suggestion. That's a good suggestion. Yeah, Ceratops can, because reach is one of the keywords on that card. I like that. That is Listen, I block warriors. This ain't a coward stream, okay? Anybody who's been here before knows I can block warriors, okay? Yeah, his hand was 2 spells, 4 lands. It's fine. Never didn't have it. Never didn't have it. Yeah, we have Ratchet Bomb and Divination. Exactly. Pierce me, daddy. Pierce me. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Xenos, thank you for the 7 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Caw-caw! Caw-caw! Aristocrats is very, very good against these Field of the Dead decks. Especially when they're playing Scapeshift. Mayhem Devil gives Scapeshift the business. I blew the Field of the Dead, the Blastoid up right away, so that way they didn't have a chance to draw a card with their other thing. Oh no! I just assumed this was coming into play untapped because I had 7 lands in play. The old play your 8th land, Woodland Cemetery comes into play tapped. Womp, womp, womp. People, there's been a lot of people asking about the Scapeshift decks and how you can combat them since they become popular after the Grand Prix this past weekend. Getting under them is the way you do it. Getting under them is the way you do it. What card should I swap for and where do you go? I don't know. I'd have to sit down and think about it. Cut the 3 you hate the most. I don't know the full sideboard offhand. You go through a lot of decks here. Ooh, for any new people that are hanging out, make sure you follow the channel if you're enjoying it. We are 28 followers away from hitting 60,000 followers on the channel. Y'all are great. Thanks everybody for being a part of that. $60,000 makes us the 3rd largest Magic focused channel behind Caleb and Kenji. I think Kenji's #1 and Caleb's #2, I believe. And obviously there's people that stream Magic on occasion with more than that, but they have more than that because they streamed non-Magic games before that. If we'd have been on the play here, we might have been okay. No, like I don't count people like Nox and Day9 in that metric because their absurd follower count is because they did things like Hearthstone and other games. Hey, thanks for the support, Elliot. Good to have you here. Yeah, Day9 is also just like, Day9's almost as old as Twitch itself. He's like one of the OGs. I think he's the longest partnered channel on the platform. How many followers does Magic proper have? The Magic category on Twitch, I believe, has close to 1 million. Yeah, there's 334,000 about. I think I'm bottoming that. Yeah, Yarok's good in this matchup. The fact that we were on the draw, though, might mean that he's going to be too slow. Even with them stumbling on lands here. I mean, like, and while saying, like, 60,000 followers is, like, a novel number, something you should understand if you're, like, thinking about that number is that Twitch followers are kind of a meaningless metric for the most part. Twitch followers are kind of a meaningless metric, largely because, like, it doesn't translate directly to viewers, which is, like, what actually translates to, like, subs and eventually income. Like, it's not uncommon to see people who have, like, you know, hundreds of thousands of followers that only stream to, like, 200 or 300 people, if that, just because they've been doing this for so long. And, like, it's definitely neat. Like, I'm excited. I'm gonna post a tweet when we hit 60,000 followers because it's neat to say that we have it. But, like, in terms of, like, metrics, like, and, like, things that turns into things that are meaningful, it's just kind of like a useless stat, right? Wow, do they not have any instants for these G2s? What? Why do I want to play Golden Demise? Why is that a card worth playing? What problem does my deck have that's being solved by playing the card Golden Demise? As expected, we are dead there. To board in a bunch of witch figures and a trophy. Get to cut a bunch of this top end. Seems good, just drag the curve down. Honestly, it might be right. This is not a matchup where we can meme. It's probably right, just put Ceratops in as a 5/4. I mean, Unmoored Ego is better in the mirror, right? Like, we just played against Bant Scapeshift and we dumpstered them with Unmoored Egos. I'd much rather have a bunch of egos than that. Ego's also better against Nexus of Fate, which is likely a hard matchup for us. Are you leaving counters out of this deck because of Veil? Instead of me telling you that card's not worth playing, can you tell me why I should play counter spells? What matchups do you think I'm improving by adding counter spells to my deck? And what cards do you recommend I should cut from my deck to add those counter spells in? Sure. So, again, I'd encourage you to consider my mana base when you're talking about a card like Golden Demise. To cast Golden Demise consistently on the third turn of the game, you need generally 18 black sources, of which I do not have in this deck. To catch more matchups. So again, be constructive and specific, Juan. Don't just use buzzwords that are not generic. Instead of saying to catch more generic matchups, which matchups? Which matchups do you envision being problematic that you are making better by making that transition? Have a reasonable discourse. Form an argument. Don't just say, Jeff, do this thing because it's good. Say, Jeff, do this thing because I think it's good for these reasons. Talk me into it. Sell me on it. I'm not seeing anyone playing Drago, Jeskai control archetype right now, but having Teft, board wipes, and Chandra and Leyland sideboard seem good. Generally speaking, you want closing power in this format. So like there was a Jeskai controlled Jeskai Super Friend deck that top baited the Grand Prix this past weekend, but that's a more proactive Jeskai deck. Yeah, I agree for the record. I think this deck's very good against a lot of the decks that you want counterspells against. I think the matchups that you struggle against, Field of, or that Unmoored Ego is better than counterspells. The animation on this thing is so good. Yeah, I agree, Chulu. The build with the 6 pieces of removal in the main deck feels really clean. Brutal. Fight with Fire and Fry both got us there. Yarok is unfortunately blue. He's blue, da ba dee da ba da, da ba dee da ba da ba dee da ba da, I. Yeah, I would assume this deck's not very good against Texas. I got bad news, chat. I don't think we're winning this game. It's always nice of mono red to like show back up and smack the harsh reality into people who are having fun. I mean, I still lose this game, Steric. I mean, I'm not winning this game regardless of what I do. I think Yarok is the highest upside play, so I'd rather take the high upside play rather than play around like very specific sideboard cards that they have to have. So again, Juan, you're not talking about the specifics. I'm going to give you one more chance before I just time you out. Identify a problem and then tell me why what you're presenting is a solution. Don't just keep saying buzzwords. Don't just keep being non-specific. Say, Jeff, I've played this deck, or Jeff, from a theory perspective, this deck seems like it struggles in this way, and then talk about it. Don't just say, well, I think you need help over here. Tell me why you think I need help there, why that's a meaningful change. Because I did my part. I told you that I think counterspells, the matchups that counterspells are good in, are traditionally good matchups for an archetype like this, because we just go bigger and they have a hard time interacting with Field of the Dead. I think the matchups like combo decks, Unmoored Ego is much better than counterspells. This isn't corporate America. My deck is not getting more agile. You have to actually put some effort into thinking about what we're doing. I think I'm gonna bottom this one. So many lands that are tapped in so many different ways. Ooh, that's a good one. Puts this one into play untapped. Need to leverage more synergy. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Kiss. For people that are newer to the channel and you're not familiar with my background, I have a master's degree in mathematics. During both my undergrad and graduate programs, I had minors in education. I spent several years as a teacher. Also spent a little bit of time working as an automation engineer in corporate America. So, in addition to being marginally above average at children's card games, I also have a small amount of real-world experience in problem solving and other similar things. Yeah, the good aggro decks are generally what I would refer to as like the litmus test of most formats. They're like you need to like clear being able to beat these to like be competitive in the format. You minored in Twitch chat control. Yep, basically. No, you see, I have two children under the age of 6, which makes me A+ expert at managing Twitch chat. Managing Twitch chat is basically just like being a parent.
I protect that which cannot protect itself. Be wary.
Am I excited for the ban list event? Not really. So I don't think we're going to play the ban list event on stream, because events like that have a short window of being played tend to not make for very lasting content, so they're not very popular in my experience. Well, I mean, the actual answer, Civilized Scholar, is that there shouldn't be Masterminds Arcane Adaptations in my deck, but I'm playing them because I was asked to play them. So the actual answer is don't put other bad cards in my deck, just like cut the bad one.
Rise, my elemental friend.
Roxer Boxers, thanks for the half a year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think we've died. It's also best of one. Yep, nope, not playing best of one. Also another good reason to not do it. Noxious Grasp is great here. Trophy's fine. Grazer's pretty mediocre. Best of one or Nexus. I really don't enjoy most of best of one, and I can just concede to Nexus of Fate in best of 3. So it's fine. Remember, Magic's a game, you generally speaking, you should play games to enjoy yourself. So if at any point you ever find yourself playing Magic and not having fun, you should stop playing Magic or start playing Magic in a different way that you find enjoyable. If you are ever frustrated or annoyed while playing Magic, you're choosing to be frustrated and annoyed. You control your destiny. Change what you're playing or how you're playing it. Marty Punker doling out a pile of sub gifties. Happy Tuesday, Marty. Welcome to our newest members of Hooglandia. Enjoy your gift of speech. Shovels are over there. That's actually a really funny comment, Lister Mouse. I wonder, we're probably not that far off from people getting the full 12 months and getting a sword from just like constant sub gifts on this channel. $55 to go. You're closing on the big 1K. There is a special sub gift icon for gifting 1,000 subs on a channel. Captain Shenanigans, yo, coming in hot with that brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Thanks for keeping me around. Welcome. Am I being manipulated? I'm being manipulated. Think I just grasped this. Let's do this first in case we hit another Field of the Dead. The Lord said, let there be choo-choos, and it came to be. I feel there is really not room in that 5-color mana base for Field, unfortunately. You could cut spells for Field. You had me at mathematician and above average at children's card games. Marginally above average. We're always honest here with ourselves in the chat. We're not like an MPL player, but I play enough, you know? I would love to get my reef back. Don't fear the reefer, chat. Don't fear the reefer. Do 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 do. Take my hand. Do 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 do. Make some boys and girls. This deck is great. It is an enchantment in a way. You're not wrong. There is actually. I wonder if there'll even be an MPL next year. It's funny, in the Q2 Hasbro reports meeting, they cited the recent Mythic Championship as being the second most watched event on Twitch this year, which is very eye-opening into why they've been paying for viewers, because they want to be able to report that their thing is incredibly successful, right? It's like, there's no way it gets close to the second most watched thing on Twitch if they're not buying viewers. Hey! Any hopes I have for the new set that will be coming out in September? Nothing too specific, I don't think. The fairy tale theme seems like a neat way to go. They were dead to trophy. Yeah, probably. You can buy Twitch viewers. Yeah, so for people that aren't familiar with what I mean by when I say buy Twitch viewers, what they did for the last two Mythic Championships that hit 100,000 viewers is they paid an ad network to embed the Magic Twitch stream as an autoplay muted video ad on a bunch of really popular gaming website wikis. So basically, while the Mythic Championship was going on, you could, like, open, like, the Dota 2 wiki, and, like, you would see the Magic stream embedded there, and you'd be being counted as a viewer, even though you're not interested in the stream, and you were just viewing this wiki page. And that is within the Twitch terms of service, and in fact, I'm pretty sure Twitch helps them set that up. How do you find that out? I don't remember who pointed it out at first. But they've done that for some individual streamers too. Like, if you remember when this hit open beta, there were a couple of days where I think it was Nox and Gabby and Savitz at one point, and one or two others had like 50 or 60,000 viewers. They were being embedded to have that happen. And like, don't get me wrong. I wanna follow those statements up with, I think the things that we've seen in terms of Mythic Championship coverage and like those streamers that I just named, they make great content, and Arena has made Magic coverage so much better than it's ever been before. But I also think it's important to be open and transparent and honest about where those numbers came from. So like, we can do both of those things, right? Like, we can say that this is awesome and like they've made huge strides, but I also think it's important to say, well, this wasn't really fully honest. All right, so I think we just Rejuvenator here because it gives me the best chance to play a 5-drop next turn. Green source is ideal. They have a Nissa this turn. We might be in a little bit of trouble. Hopefully we hit a land next turn and can go Risen Reef into Assassin's Trophy if they have a 5-drop. we've not gotten to go full meme yet, unfortunately. It might be wrong to play this just because this pass might be a counterspell being held up.
I'm always a step ahead. This will come in handy.
Well, I mean, I think a big part of it, Zikta, is because I would bet a number of the people in the MPL didn't really want to stream, right? Like, one of the things that I always found odd is, like, when they started the MPL, there were a bunch of people that were like, oh, I could finally stream. And it's just like, you've always been able to stream, right? Like, people who wanted to stream Magic could have just done it, right? Like, you don't need someone to throw $75,000 a year at you to stream Magic if that's something you actually want to be doing.
Stand by and watch.
Yeah, that's also true too. Like, if you even if some of them wanted to stream, they aren't necessarily good at it too, right? Like I said, I'm a mildly above average Magic player, but I'm a pretty good content producer. Like, as far as streaming as my job goes, I'm reasonable at that. And they're not exactly the same skill sets. I agree with that sentiment. All right, so what do I want to do here? So if I play a 3-drop, I'm not very resource efficient this turn. I could also just, like, I could go Risen Reef plus Trophy. That's probably the line. That's true. I'm also very organized. You probably make the argument I'm one of the most organized on Twitch. I spend the effort outside of my stream to make sure the stream is reasonable. Not need another Yarok. Nah, I don't really want to play in the fandom events anymore, Boneless. Playing last week made me realize that, like we're talking about competitive Magic and stuff like that. I'm just really not. I'd really much rather just, like, hang out and have a good time. The downtime of streaming tournaments every week is just, like, it makes for middling content.
This one I will remember. Think this
Don't fear the Reefer, opponent. Don't fear the Reefer. I mean, I would love to do commentary for something like the fandom event. I mean, I offered to do commentary for them at one point. They declined. And that's their choice, right? Like, the first week they invited me, I was like, I'd love to do commentary for an arena-only tournament. Because when you're doing commentary, you're actually making content the entire time, right? The lots of waiting is just not
Might be a bad idea.
not something I'm into. I just feel like I'm wasting my time in between. Just like, there's just so much downtime.
how you play the hand you dealt.
Maybe I want a Yarok before. Maybe I want a Yarok before I Cavalier here. Would have made more Field of the Dead tokens if I did it that way. Although we're gonna have plenty of those. This deck is just such a good proof of concept that ooh. Sweet memes are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the 7 seas. Everybody memeing for something. Don't negate me. 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 I have a question for you, opponent. Have you always hated fun, or is it a recent development? Alright, so if I cast this like this, I can still play a forest and play a Cavalier. Laugh-a-2, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. Bye, Felicia. This deck definitely doesn't need the Arcane Adaptations to win, but it's a funny idea. Kill the cat, grasp the Cavalier to get back your adaptation. The next level lines. If you want to see what this deck looks like without adaptations in it, you want to check out the video from yesterday. This is an adapted version of that deck to try and have this combo in it. Yeah, I agree, Marty. I think Soul type field in general is just gonna be a reasonable archetype. And always remember, if you missed any of the sweet decks we've played, you can always head on over to magicesports.net, click videos standard, and absolutely everything we stream ends up on those pages there on my website. You can find easy to import deck lists in the video descriptions of every video on my YouTube channel. Almost an hour with this one. We get into Just Guy Friends pretty soon. No, Trophy. This deck does not have many cards rotating out of it. Listen, you can tell Magic Esports is not an official Wizards website because all of the deck pages have an export to arena button. Listen, we just like to have fun here, okay? We just like to have fun here. Do 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 do. Be do 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 do. Listen, every day we get to wake up and play a bunch of Magic the Gathering's a great day here, okay? Was that I don't want to work? It was in fact I don't want to work. I just want to bang on my drums all day. Is every deck a ramp deck these days? Yeah, Scape Shift's the new hot thing. Everybody's giving it a try. Untapped blue source. Untapped blue source. Actually, any untapped land, right? We're gonna add trophy Ugin to our trophy case here. Oh, Yarok is so good. I actually really like this deck. I'm sorry, I looked at the deck list, but I cannot for the life of me figure out how this deck wins a match. Field of the Dead. Field of the Dead is how we win. You can also theoretically win with Jace's alt text, but Field of the Dead is the real answer. Yarok plus Risen Reef. If Yarok plus Risen Reef is wrong, then I don't want to be right, chat. So, if you watch the Yarok Scape Shift deck we played yesterday through the end, we ultimately ended up cutting almost all the Scape Shifts. So this is basically a meme version of the deck we played yesterday. We adapted it a little bit. I assume we're going to see this crank up to 3 or 5 Might go up to 5 to take the Yarok out. Yeah, Reef plus Yarok is a heck of a drug. Yeah, links are enabled in chat. Feel free to share funny and magic relevant links. The old double Grazer trigger. Is Yarok the baddie from Stranger Things 3? I've only ever watched the first one, so I can't say. Yeah, I agree, Pants. I also think the way this Yarok build of Field of the Dead is constructed, it's a lot harder to hate out with sideboard cards. Just because we have a diversity of win conditions in the main deck against Unmoored Ego, and our deck replenishes zombies post Scapeshift, or even without Scapeshift very quickly. Listen, you can tell Magic Esports is not an official Wizards website because all of the deck pages have an export to Arena button. Oh, did the audio from my clip come through? I have, Thank you for that. Let me fix that. Normally... Oh, you know what? That's from the fandom tournament. So, for the fandom tournament, normally I have my audio, my pulse audio set up, so... Normally I have my pulse audio set up so you can't hear when I'm watching videos on my browser. These are my zomboys and girls. Do you love them? I love them. Hey, T-Crush, thank you for the 9 months of Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. That's a good one to share. I agree. Oh no, don't Field of Ruin me. Yeah, this is a deck that kind of goes over the top of Mass Manipulation. When you bring in Nexus of Fate, any game that's going to go really long, then you might risk decking out. It's like the card that helps you not deck out. So they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blockers. So these don't attack super profitably at the moment. The Sloths don't have a foil option. There are a number of cards on Arena that don't let you foil them. Mostly because Wizard of the Coast hates my money. I just want to give them all of my money. And I just can't. They won't take it. Does Nissa ult do anything to us? I don't think so. Nah, not really. So I can crack this and still cast Jace this turn, so let's do that. I guess I probably want to kill their Nissa, huh?
This will come in handy.
Or I don't need to. Or I don't need to. Sweet memes are made of these. Who am I to disagree? Travel the world and the seven seas. Oh no! We don't have a Risen Reef. We need a reef, right? So they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The tier 3 sub get us to the modern deck? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, tier 3 sub decks get added with 30 points. And the minimum for a modern deck is 25. Yeah, so the combo, for those not aware, this makes all of our creatures elementals. So this, if we have Risen Reef in play, all the zombies are elemental and then trigger Risen Reef. Oh no, they're gonna kill my Jace. They're gonna kill my Jace, chat. That's so rude. There's a Field of Ruin in this deck, right? There's a Field of Ruin in my hand, duh. There's a Field of Ruin in my hand. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. I don't have any basics left in my deck, though, notably. Oh, no. That's so brutal. I am less sad. So there's how many reefs in here? 1, 2. We got 3 reefers and 1 Field of Dead left in our deck. We could theoretically meme off next turn still.
The land shall conquer you.
So if we hit a Risen Reef next turn, we could fully pop off. I'm gonna mill them because my deck's really small and I don't want to mill my last Field of Dead.
How you played and your
Nah, they didn't block it last turn. They're not gonna take the bait.
illusion. We'll make this look easy.
Ah, should have milled myself, obviously. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So if they block 9 of these, she takes 10 and dies. Hey, Beard Hug. Thank you for the 14 months support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I don't think we lose Jace in the backswing. We don't, right? Because we can block 4 and then he only takes 2. And we get to eat 2 of these in that attack. So I think that attack's pretty good for us. If we hit a Risen Reef, we'll probably power through here. Oh, come on. Come on. The top of their deck's been real gross for us these last couple of, Yeah, I think Field of Ruin means that we're just gonna kind of get got here. I guess I could just... Oh, are they gonna aggressively attack my mana? Aggressively attacking my mana would be good for me. That gives us a chance to get Field of the Dead going next turn. I want them to activate Field right now, ideally. Perfect. So this kills a land for me, but that's fine. I have 22 cards in my library. Maybe I just start milling myself with Jace and then try and win that way. If we hit a Risen Reef, there's a good probability that we full combo here. So this mill's 10 cards over. We can probably just win with Jace, right? If I draw this.
It's a matter of give and take.
Yeah, we can also just start running them down. Yarok has Death Touch here, which is real good. And like, if they're getting Blast Zone going next turn, they're not getting Field of Ruin for my Field of Dead. I think they're just dead, right? Just like made enough zombies. Yeah, I agree. There's a lot of ways to eat this, Reese's. Yeah, the Arcane Adaptation is cute, but honestly, I think this Sultai Yarok Field of the Dead archetype is just probably very reasonable. We have a Cavalier of Thorns, a Yarok, and a Risen Reef in our deck.
Always an answer.
There's only 6 cards in our deck. I think I just hang tight. Oh, I should have dropped Blast Zone in. Ugin would get us. Yeah, Ugin's true. Yeah, we could have won by attacking. I really just wanted to win the cool way. Is exactly correct. I wanted to win the cool way. No, I don't have lethal on board. If they go block, block, and then block a zombie, they go to 2. Yeah, we're gonna put Jace on top for sure. There's our deck. There are many like it, but this one is mine.
Experience still proved useful.
They can shuffle the Jace with field. They're dead in combat though. They go block, block, take 8. All right. There was a lot of good back and forth there. You're not wrong. So sideboarding's really clean against these other decks. I think it's just grasp and trophies in. Cut the Arboreal Grazers that don't really block meaningfully. Click submit. That was game 1. This is gonna be the last match with this deck. We're gonna roll on to Just Guys Super Friends. Coward is a creature type, right? Yeah. Does this get to make the website too? Probably not with Arcane Adaptations, but yeah, I think I'm going to put some form of Sultai Yarok on the website. I think the archetype as a whole is very reasonable. Our deck's got a lot of mana in it, so I'm going to bottom a land there and keep my 5 drops. This scries, and this gets to look at an extra land too. Perfect. I think I just keep that guaranteed, right? It's another untapped land for me. I already have triple green. Saw this deck list, immediately set my wild cards on fire, got to combo, and my first game the entire time I thought I was gonna deck myself. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like, aside from the Arcane Adaptations, all the rares and mythics in this deck are like just like good cards that aren't rotating pretty much, so you're gonna get a lot of play out of them. That's really unfortunate for us. We might actually just lose to them field of ruining us this game because I happen to draw 2 of my 3 basics. Like, normally I think this doesn't really matter with this because by the time this can be relevant, we're like well established. And like we ramp enough that like losing a few lands here and there isn't a big ideal. We do have trophies and blast zones, you're not wrong. Hitting the ramp off of this is pretty good because it means even if they field us next turn, we're gonna get to go land Cavalier of Thorns to get some more acceleration going. You, Vanessa.
We are all connected. Harness the elements.
No blocked. Go to 14. So we have a basic for their first field. We don't have a basic for their second field. I think you always want a Cavalier of Thorns first, because Cavalier of Thorns gives us more looks at Field of the Dead. Yeah, that would be fine, Alkalo. I think that zombie deck was very reasonable.
Be wary of the ground to walk on.
Field of Ruin is really awkward against Cavalier of Thorns alt text or dice text. You get to like shuffle away the card we put back on top. We're hoping to draw at this point. I guess Arcane Adaptation would be good because it would let us find a field of the dead with the Cavalier of Thorns and get going that way. Trophy would be okay too. Trophy would let us take the Crucible off the table, which takes some pressure off our mana. Yeah, for sure. As always, for folks that want to submit things with their tier 3, just drop them in the form on my website when your renewal comes up. Just helps me stay organized. Hi, Speedrun. Thank you for the 16 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All of the Cavaliers are very reasonable. And again, because we drew 2 basics this game, theirs is just like wastelanding us already, unfortunately. Wasteland plus, really, because they don't lose a land, and we do. I'm gonna be able to get a couple more Cavaliers down here, but it might be a little bit too slow. Well, this is another reason to Cavalier first. You get to scry into your Risen Reef trigger. Sounds good, Marty. Yeah, I think I agree with that assessment. I think if you forced me to pick a Cavalier that I thought was the worst, I would probably pick the red one. But I also think the red one is perfectly fine. Alright, the fact that they use this field proactively here means I can go Arcane Adaptation into Cavalier of Thorns next turn and perhaps draw a bunch of cards. If we get a little bit fortunate. We're gonna do Yarok instead. There's four fields and 34 cards. We get 2 looks at 4 fields and 34 cards. If we hit a field here, there's a good chance we pop off. Ooh, that's an Assassin's Trophy. That's an Assassin's Trophy. Hoo-hoo! Hoo-hoo! I agree. Trophy's a very good Magic card right now. Hey, Crucibles, you think are in their deck? 2 or 3? I think we're killing the Crucible here. Can we beat this emblem? 100%. I mean, why choose, chat? Why choose? Why not both? All right, hopefully they're not going to get another turn here. Hopefully they're just not getting another turn. So I'm gonna decline this trigger because I need an untapped blue source so I can cast the Jace when we draw it eventually. So this is the combo. This is the combo. So the Arcane Adaptations make the zombies into elementals, which then trigger the Risen Reef. And notably, Risen Reef is not drawing a card, so it's not going to deck us. So it's not going to deck us. And there's the Jace. So once our deck is empty, we'll play this Drowned Catacombs that I opted to put into my hand. And then we'll play the Jace and we'll win the game with it. Sweet memes are made of these. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. This deck's really funny. I'm glad we got to do the thing at least once before we finished. Fitting that it was on the last one of the day. Oh yeah, Paradise Druid does make blue mana, doesn't it? The trigger count is currently at 27 on the stack. $32. Oh, the Paradise Druid is summoning sick, isn't it? The trigger count is located just below me. So there's 32. So these are all gonna happen. I'm gonna play. Don't forget to build them too, right? Once the stack finishes resolving, sometimes it's hard to believe people play this game in paper, right? Right? So when the stack finally finishes up here in a minute or two, we're gonna play Drowned Catacomb, play Jace Wielder of Mysteries, and win the game with Jace. To take this opportunity to show that's true. If you're a new viewer and you enjoy the things we do here, lots of great constructed decks every single day. Usually play 3 to 5 Magic Arena decks every single day. Be sure to hit that follow button. It doesn't cost you anything. It'll let you know when I go live and with what. Oh, there's still a Cavalier trigger. Hold on, moment. My lands have an arrow. We have too many lands, chat. Our lands have an arrow. I find this stream very lacking in triggers. Please fix. All right. So I don't actually want to target them with this because if they cast Veil of Autumn, it would counter my ability. So I don't want to target them because if they Veil of Autumn, it gives them hexproof and removes the ability's only target, and then it doesn't happen. Oh, that was great. That's probably, I'm pretty sure resolving all those triggers was too long for a clip. I'm pretty sure resolving all those triggers was too long for a clip. How many zombies by the end? I'm not sure, actually. I wasn't paying attention. So yeah, so we played this deck without Arcane Adaptation and Jace yesterday, and it felt very, very reasonable. Honestly, this deck gets close to decking itself even without combo decking, so some amount of Jace might be okay, but essentially, this mana base that we have here with the 4 Field of the Deads, and then these spells here, I think is super, super reasonable. Kind of dealer's choice what you want to do with these last 4 slots, if you want to meme with these 4, but I think this core of the Sultai Field of the Dead deck feels very, very reasonable and competitive. All right, we're going to roll along to Jeskai Super Friends next.